Hello, it's John with New York Metro Weather, back with another update on the weather. It's been a while since we've done a full video, so really happy, excited to have you guys back and watching. I wanted to just say a quick thank you to, number one, our supporters on Patreon who keep us running, keep this going, and keep us afloat, very literally, and allow us to do this, which is really exciting for me and for everyone that makes this all happen. So thank you guys for your support, and to our followers and subscribers across social media, including YouTube, obviously. It's really special to see this cool little community we've been building over the last couple of months. So here's what's going on today. Let's jump right into it. Showers across a large majority of the Northeast states, and this is a larger storm system that's moving into south and eastern Canada. This storm, very warm for a large majority of the area. The bulk of the rain is going to miss New York City to the north this afternoon and into tonight, but we're still looking at the possibility of periods of moderate to heavy rain. This is valid right around 7 p.m., so periods of heavy rain could glance the New York City Metro, northern New Jersey, and southeast New York. This is now valid at 8, and here's 9 o'clock, and you can see that the bulk of this stuff is well to our north and in New England and away from the area by the time we get into tonight. So although this system passes by through tonight, it's not really going to drag down a cold front or bring any major cold front with it. That front is still going to be lingering back to our west into Wednesday morning. So as a result, that warm air mass still hanging around. Look at the temperatures on Wednesday afternoon across the area, and I'll even zoom into the New York City metro area here for you as we go into Wednesday afternoon. This is the latest NAM model showing temperatures in the mid-60s on Wednesday afternoon. Big time warmth in the New York City metro on Wednesday. The frontal boundary does come through, though, and it sinks down with a vengeance Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and that brings really cold air back into the area. Look at the temperature change here. By the time we get into Thursday morning, we're down into the 20s. It's feeling like the teens, and even most importantly, the dew points are way low, back down into the teens and even the single digits in parts of the northern suburbs of the New York City metro. So this is a dense, dry, cold air mass sinking down into the area on Thursday. So why is that so important? Let's back this way up. We're going to switch over to the European model and look at the setup in the atmosphere across the area on Thursday. So we have this storm system that comes through today into Wednesday. We know that's occurring. This thing gets out of here, but a couple things are going on that I want to draw your attention to. So we're looking at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and we're looking at vorticity or spin in the atmosphere. This helps us understand where these individual disturbances are. So here's our first one that comes through today. You can see it's kind of embedded along this gradient, and it right here just slides right through New England, off and away from us. But lingering to the north of this disturbance is a lot of cold air, and so this is reinforced. You see this second disturbance come down here through New England on Wednesday night into Thursday. So that cold is reinforced. It's pressing down. Now, over the Four Corners region of the southwest U.S., we have another disturbance. Look at all this vorticity here. This is ready to eject off to the east, and it's going to do so right along this height gradient. Can you see how tightly packed these lines are here? If you look further south across the Gulf of Mexico, they're much more loose. There's much more space in between them. Even here over Canada, look how much space there is between these height lines. Now look here across the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. This is a height gradient, a temperature gradient, and this disturbance is going to eject off to the east, and it's going to eject right into that gradient. These disturbances love to do that. They serve almost as a highway for these disturbances to eject along. And so, as this disturbance ejects off to the east from Thursday night into Friday, notice how the height field also compresses across southeast Canada. That is going to be a squeeze play between all the warmth and the moisture coming from the southwest, and the cold and the dense air mass to the north pressing down and creating that squeeze play in New England. Let's look at what it means from a pressure standpoint. So we get this disturbance that comes through Wednesday morning. That cold air comes in. We know that on Thursday. And then look at this high pressure that builds in on Thursday. A big, broad, vast high pressure. Almost so broad and so vast that our secondary disturbance that ejects out from Thursday night into Friday is kind of lost in between that high pressure. It ends up sliding off to the south of Long Island. The primary low goes here into Pennsylvania on Friday morning, and then a secondary low forms here over southeast of Long Island and heads out to sea. But the high pressure is the dominant force here, and so that's important, right? Because let's go back and look at the setup here for a second and take a look at what the model is indicating. So we know we have that disturbance coming out of the southwest. We know we have that squeeze play in the northeast. This disturbance is bringing plenty of warm air with it from Thursday into Friday. It's all being driven by the advection of warm air and moisture. But with that high pressure lingering to the north across New England and pressing down, we know about that compressed flow we just talked about. It's going to be a battleground between the moisture and warmth surging up and the cold air surging down. And so zooming in here temporarily on the northeast states, you really can get a feel for what's going on here. Here's a European model. So this is valid Friday morning. And you see across southern New Jersey, it's already too warm. It starts off pretty much as rain. In eastern Pennsylvania, you have mixed precipitation types, and across northern New Jersey and New York City, you're getting a period of moderate to heavy snowfall on Friday morning associated with that moisture and that lift coming from that disturbance that's ejecting out. And it's really being aided by that press from the high pressure down to the north. So you almost have this squeeze play right in the northern mid-Atlantic, including parts of northern New Jersey and New York City. That moves northward into Connecticut. By the time we get into the late morning on Friday, the model suggests New York City will be flipped over to this wintry mix of crap. It could be sleet, it could be freezing rain, and eventually it'll change over to rain on the back end of the storm by Friday afternoon. However, with that high pressure there to the north and the low pressure surging in from the south, it's going to be critical to figure out which one of those is going to win out on an hour-by-hour basis. You know, we've had events like this in the past where we were anticipating all this warm air to come surging up, but the precipitation is so heavy and the high pressure is so strong that cold air can hang on for a couple hours longer than we might initially think it would. If that happens, you get a very wintry situation on Friday morning. If the warm air wins out, even if it wins out aloft, so a couple thousand feet up, we don't really see much snow in New York City at all. It starts as some snow and flips over to sleet and freezing rain, does that for a couple hours Friday, and then we change over to rain. So if it ends up warmer than all the models suggest and it starts and ends as rain, that seems unlikely. I think we're going to be dealing with some winter weather on the front of this storm. It's just going to be a matter of figuring out just how much it's going to be as we move through the next couple of days. Various models depicting the potential for winter weather on the front end of the storm from very late Thursday night into Friday morning. We're going to have to figure out the timing of this snow on the front end, how long it's going to last before we flip to sleet and freezing rain as we move through the next couple of days and we get a better idea on how this is going to evolve. Looking at potential impacts, this is the ensemble, so we use the average of 51 members of an ensemble. This is valid Friday morning, and it's showing the core of this winter weather threat in terms of snowfall is going to be north of New York City, in the capital region, northeast PA, but it does include northern New Jersey, and it does suggest at least a potential for a couple inches of snow on the front end of this storm in New York. Much more snowfall in parts of New England, obviously, with the colder air pressing down there, but you can see really where this gradient is, and it's not wise to ignore the potential for a couple inches of snow on the front end of this in New York. Here's the probability for more than 3 inches of snow. So I'll include the scale here at the bottom on the European ensemble. New York City right on the edge of that 50 to 60% line, but if you're in northern New Jersey, it's higher. It's 60, 70, even 80% up near High Point in Sussex County. And you can see the bulk of that 3-inch confidence is further north. So we're right on that southern fringe. Again, that's what I'm talking about. Even a couple hours will make the difference in really how the Friday morning commute is going to play out. Don't want to ignore the potential for other precipitation types either. So even on the European model, we take a look at this. Here's Friday morning, suggesting the possibility through late Friday morning of freezing rain. This is not an insignificant amount of freezing rain either, specifically across northern New Jersey here. So we could be talking about some snow and then some ice on top of that snow. Freezing rain causes all kinds of problems, slick roads, black ice, power issues. We would like to avoid this scenario if we could. So we'll have to keep a close eye on the potential for that freezing rain on Friday morning. So again, to summarize this all for you, it's a complicated situation coming up late Thursday into Friday. We have a strong high to the north and a storm coming in with lots of warmth and moisture from the south. And so that squeeze play, that gradient, is going to be critical for us to figure out. It looks at this point like we'll be dealing with at least some snow and sleet and freezing rain on Friday morning. So you're going to want to start factoring that into your plans Friday morning. And then we will transition to a wintry mix Friday afternoon, eventually ending as drizzle or rain with improving conditions by the time we get into Saturday. We'll be back with you on Wednesday morning with a much more detailed breakdown, which I have a better idea as to how this is all going to evolve, and we'll start putting out some forecasts for winter weather accumulations in the New York City metro as we get closer to the event as well. That's all for today. Have a great Tuesday, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.